Here we have some more Demna-isms where Demna likes to play around with different silhouettes. Obviously, this trouser here is exceptionally baggy. Is this even a trouser or is it a skirt? It looks more like a trouser, but like just stupidly baggy, extreme oversized silhouettes is what Demna does every season. I'm not really mad at that. A lot of designers have signatures. The only time, because I feel like sometimes when I do these lives, people think I'm not a fan of Demna, which is not true because I'm a big fan of Demna. The only issue I have is when he gets into the merchy side of thing. But you know, designers have signatures. It's fine for a designer to have a signature. But when he gets into all the merchy shit is where he loses me. But we're not there yet. So we can do that. The oversized coats, we see this a lot too. These are also things we see. Distressed knitwear. Of course, we had the footwear across the collection also. Extremely baggy trousers. I can imagine these look like the kind of trousers that Demna does, where it's kind of an optical illusion. So it's supposed to look like a certain fabric, but it isn't actually that fabric. These kind of look denim-ish, but I can imagine they're definitely not denim. They're probably some sort of jersey fabric or something like that, like cotton. That's also very interesting. Yeah, there is a lot of merchy stuff near the end. There is. But that's the side of them that I don't really like, which is fine. I mean, I don't think there's any person on this planet that, you know, likes everything. That would be really weird if you just like everything. It means you don't really have taste. Whether bad or good, you just don't even have taste. It doesn't exist in your world, which is insane. And I know a lot of, I think one reason why people think I don't like Demna is because I think a lot of, let's say, content creators or people that speak about fashion, they say the most agreeable things all the time. I don't know if it's to do with they don't want to say anything negative about brands because they want to work with brands. Actually, to be fair, that is part of it. And then secondly is they don't want to deal with the negative kickback from people disagreeing with them. So they just become like ultra agreeable people. So if I critique any designer, they're just like, you don't like that designer's like, no. Most of the time, like 95% of the time, I like Demna's work and I talk about all the stuff that I like about it all the time. Exactly. You can love a person's work while being critical of it. Why not? Exactly that. I like the scarf trench coat, but I think the ones he did years ago were nicer. Yeah, I love those too. We'll get to those too. Where did I study fashion? At Central St. Martin. We're starting the Fashion Roman drinking game early, I see. Yeah, at every single stream's like, I don't hate Demna, guys. This side of the Lamborghini collaboration doesn't really interest me that much, apart from the fact there's just literally a Lamborghini logo on Balenciaga bag. So we can speed run past that. These kind of looks are the looks that I absolutely love from Demna. Absolutely love that. This is what I absolutely love from Demna. Kind of referencing Cristobal Balenciaga's shapes and bringing them into a more modern context, obviously making them a bit less, because a lot of what Cristobal Balenciaga did was structured. The silhouettes were very structured, where Demna relaxes them, but he still does it though. Sometimes I see online this critique of Demna where it's like, there's nothing about what Demna does that relates to Cristobal Balenciaga, which just isn't true. That's not true at all. The merchy stuff, definitely, but every season we see Demna play with Cristobal Balenciaga's shapes, whether it's a cocoon shape or anything else. So yeah, this is what I really, really love from Demna. That's what I always love. Of course, now we're getting into the side of Demna-isms that I don't like sometimes, where this is like his trench coat scarf. This is an idea that he's played with in many different collections. So he'll take like a garment and change the context of the garment, which is what he does all the time. He does it in his couture collections. In this case, it's a trench coat made out of a scarf. He's done jeans into collars that I've, made a joke about before. And I did a whole stream, if you guys remember, where I literally wore a pair of jeans as a collar, but he's done, the top of trousers and jeans as the shape of a coat collar. He's done jeans as a scarf. He's done trench coats as a scarf. He's done knitwear pieces as a scarf. He's done all of that. I think it's cool, depending on how it's styled and how it's draped. But I would prefer if these kind of things, they keep it to the minimum. Of course, we have these Lamborghini earrings. We also have some more incognito-esque style Balenciaga sunglasses. Shout out to Martal Margiela. That's where a lot of these ideas come from. when it comes to these incog sunglasses. Here again, we have some more scarf, some more coat scarves going on. I prefer it in this look. I think it looks way more chic and more interesting the way that it's styled. I like the colors too. I like the layering of it. So I definitely prefer how it's done here to here, for example. Here it looks a bit messy and a bit, you know, just thrown on, whereas here it looks more considered. Yeah, the only funny thing though is how much you're going to pay for a coat scarf. I should stop, you know, talking about luxury prices. We all know that it's not, you know, luxury has lost its luster. We talk about this all the time. Let me not beat a dead horse. You woman you says the coat scarf is dope. I totally agree. Big fan. Look 12 would have gone triple platinum in 2021. Are those earrings brass? I'm sure you would love it to be brass. I'm very sure that's what you would love. Once again, just emphasizing this collaboration with Shaw. So you have the Shaw Balenciaga cap with the typical Balenciaga cap shape, which is the brim is normally long, thinner, and bent. It has a more exaggerated bend. I actually really love the shape of Balenciaga caps. As someone that literally wears caps all the time, I do love them. We have some more Demna-isms. Every time I see camo in a Demna collection, it reminds me of one of Demna's Vêtements collections that I am a big fan of, actually. I'll put it on the screen. Because I'm getting in... Someone sent me a DM while I was on my break and was like, I really like that you can reference to so many shows when you review collections and stuff, and it shows that you have like a wide knowledge base. But I would really love, they're kind of like giving me a compliment before they rip me into shreds, and I'm joking, but they're like, but I'd really love if you actually show us what you're talking about. So it's not just like I have to imagine what you're talking about and I don't actually know what you're saying. So that's why I've made it more of a thing now. Every time I mention something, I'm like, okay, let me put something on the screen. Let me put something on the screen. But going on, what I'm actually talking about is this collection here. So Vêtements Spring Summer 19. So this collection was inspired by the Georgian War, which of course is a war that Demna fled. That's how Demna became a refugee. It's quite dark. But essentially, there's a lot of camo in this collection in different hues. And I really like the shade of camo, like this shade of camo, for example, is something that Demna has used a lot of Balenciaga. And it just reminds me of his time at Vêtements, where he used to use like that shade of camo all the time. So yeah, every time I see it, this is what I think about every single time. When I see a really light wash of camo. Io's DMs sound like a mass execution. So yeah, these are very much Demna-ism. And then here we have another scarf. This scarf here looks like a bathrobe. But like I said, it's Demna taking garments and changing the context of them. Something that you normally wear over your body, he's changing the context and making you wear them over your neck as a scarf. And you have different choices. You can wear a coat scarf, a bathrobe scarf, or a trench coat scarf. Whichever one you prefer, all the options are there for all of you. Carolina says, it definitely helps me to learn a little since I'm new to following collections. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad I can help. But yeah, I'm getting a lot better at showing things on the screen quickly. I guess I'm getting into the role of being a streamer. So yeah, I like referencing because it's interesting to see how designers develop their design language. Like even when I was talking about the whole, you know, orthodox silhouettes that Demna likes to use and he's used since Vêtements days, and he's kind of developed it from something more obvious that priests would wear to taking shirts and changing it into that silhouette, or taking knitwear and making a dress into that silhouette. A jarf, a jean scarf. I love that name actually. Jarf, a scrobe. I absolutely love that. Moving on, guys, moving on. Okay, here we have some more scarf-free and draping. So let's just move on. I feel like you guys get the message at this point. I feel like I've explained it into the death. We have the quintessential Balenciaga track jacket, two-piece. You've got the trousers and the jacket, or the pants, as my American viewers would say, the pants. Matching pants. So you have those. Balenciaga does that all the time at this point. Looking closer, it actually looks like, let me see, that might be a very interesting fabric. I'll have to look at that after the stream. Moving on, we've got some more Lamborghini logos for good measure. These chunky belt, I've been trying, if anyone knows what's written there. Before I got on the stream, I was really trying to find images like close-ups and I couldn't find one. I really want to know what is written on the belt because I can't read it, and I know that everything Balenciaga does is intentional, so I'd want to know what exactly like they wrote on that. So if anyone like has a link, please let me know. We've got some more of the shawl collaboration, the jacket. I also love, because this is what Demna does so well. And I feel like this is why Demna is such a successful designer. Demna can take the most commercial piece, like the most like boring, mundane, basic ass, plain Jane jacket, and make the shoulders really exaggerated, make the sleeves really wide, and just make something that is supposed to be mundane actually really interesting. I think that's where he shines, and I think that's why he sells a lot. Like why his Balenciaga sells a lot, because it's desirable to wear. Because if you don't want to wear something completely basic, but you want something that's easy to wear and also versatile, like both of these pieces here, the skirt and the jacket, are very versatile, especially with the color. You can wear it with so many different things, right? That could fit seamlessly into people's wardrobe. And you can layer those in very interesting ways. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. So this is a big reason why he does so well commercially. Also, this looks interesting because this skirt looks two layered. So the back, one side is denim, and then so the back is denim and the front is what looks to me like cotton or like wool. That's interesting. What I want to know, which is why I want to see this garment up close. This is the kind of garment I would want to see up close. If this isn't an optical illusion and this isn't just black denim, which it doesn't look like it to me, it would be really interesting to see what they've done construction-wise to make sure that this works. Because for people that don't know, some of you are designers, so you would understand this, but for people that aren't designers, it's very hard to balance two fabrics that are very different weight. It's not good. Because if the denim is really heavy and the fabric on the front is really light, the denim is constantly pulling on the fabric, and that will damage the garment over time. So sometimes designers that are terrible won't reinforce the garment, and so designers that are terrible will just let the garment get damaged and not really think about that. They're only thinking of the aesthetic of it. A really good designer will find ways to reinforce the garment to make it balanced. These are the kind of things, by the way, that couturiers like Cristobal Balenciaga used to do, where to make up for weight differences in garments, he would reinforce certain aspects to balance the garment. It's things like this. That's why people say, oh, Cristobal Balenciaga is a master of tailoring. That's a big reason why. So for people that aren't designers, so it would be really interesting to know what they've done, or if they've actually done anything to kind of overcome that issue. I also read that the neck warmers, these kind of like neck support things that you would wear in an airplane, these are in collaboration with Show also. So this idea of comfort goes further into the accessories, not just the footwear. Yeah, Carolina says, I mean, interfacing exists for this reason. Exactly. You can turn out design after design with just playing with proportion. Facts. Are the fake denim leathers good quality, or does the process of making it denim-like destructive? So to be honest, I don't really know about... That's more a question for Micah, one, because Micah actually has a few pieces from Balenciaga that are in the realm of playing with, optical illusions, like, oh, it looks like denim, but it's actually cotton. So he would be able to tell you about the quality. You know what? Let me call him midstream and see what he says. If he picks up, who knows? He may or may not pick up. Let's see. This is like becoming a stream. I'm literally calling my friends midstream. That's really weird. Let's see if he picks up, guys. Hello. I'm good. Basically, I'm on a stream, but I need to ask you a question quickly because... No, midstream. We're doing calls midstream, bro. But anyway, so I have a quick question to you from the chat. So people are asking if... You know when Balenciaga does those optical illusion fabric thing? Yeah, the trompe-l'œil. Your piece I think it's supposed to look like denim, the trousers. But what fabric is it? Cotton, I think. Okay, yours is velvet. Okay, cool. What is the quality on those like? People are wondering, like, is it the fact that he does kind of like these fake, denim thing? Does it make the quality less? Does it feel substantial? What's the quality like?
That's a good one. I think Balenciaga actually do really good denim in general, like really good quality denim.
Right.
So if it were made, it would be very high quality anyway.
Right.
I think it's pretty high quality in the sense of that one, it's completely velvet. So I feel like I'm wearing joggers when I wear it. It looks completely like denim. The only obviously awkward bit is velvet is a difficult material to clean. So ideally it's a dry clean job only. Whereas jeans you can just chuck them in the water.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're decent quality. I mean, are they worth 1.3K. I don't know about that, but that's how much they cost. So
It's like, I don't know about the 1.3K price tag, but you know. That's funny. Okay, thank you very much for your contribution, Mike. I shall be hopping back on the stream.
no worries, in a bit.
All right, talk to you later, bro. Okay, there you go, guys. We did a quick Who Wants to Be a Millionaire phone a friend. That's your answer, guys. Brutality is saying there's no denim aspect to it other than the look. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. Like fake denim in the sense that it's supposed to look like denim, but it's not. That's exactly what we were talking about. So this look is actually really interesting. Why this is interesting is something that Balenciaga have been doing over the years, especially in like the recent collections, is they've almost been trying to create the most comfortable, you know, leather racing jacket, like motorcycling jacket, racing jacket type of thing. So they aren't obviously, you know, functional, because if you have anyone that has a race jacket, I'm into motorcycling, so I have a lot of motorcycling jackets, and they are heavy as shit because they have shoulder pads and elbow pads and chest pads and back pads. They are so heavy, it's unbelievable. Like I literally cannot wear them if it's not winter, or if I'm actually just not motorcycling. So they've kind of removed all of the protection, which is what makes it functional, and kept the aesthetic of it, which is kind of cool because I think that motorcycle jackets, you know, racing jackets look cool, but it's hard for me to wear my motorcycle jackets for fashion reasons because they're just so damn heavy. So this is kind of cool, kind of taking the aesthetic of it, taking the functionality out of it, making it comfortable, so you can have the aesthetic of the jacket, and then there are obviously the matching trousers. And of course, like, they would never be this baggy. So that is actually something I find really interesting, kind of taking the aesthetic of something. And this is something I think Demna does well also. One of my grails actually is, do you guys remember when Demna was doing police uniforms when he was at Vetements? There was this absolutely insane, let me in the spirit of putting stuff on the screen, I think it was Vetements Spring Summer 20, because I remember Vetements Spring Summer 20 was the McDonald's collection. But they had these like bomber jackets that were kind of inspired by security uniforms, and I really love that jacket. Yeah, this stuff here. So it's from this collection. So this stuff here is really cool because Demna does that. Demna will take like a police uniform or security uniform that he sees and kind of work on it and transform it into something more fashion focused and something easier to wear and something also more lightweight. So that's something that I've always loved that Demna does. And it makes a really good product. It really, really does. It makes a really, really good product. So police. Op cosplay. I still need those first motocross boots. Those were amazing, by the way. And as a motorcycling fan, what's more swaggy than being on your Ducati wearing the Balenciaga motocross boot? On like a Ducati Hyper Motard or something like that. The McDonald's collection. I don't think it was actually called the McDonald's collection. I think I just refer to it as the McDonald's collection because it was held in a McDonald's. I don't actually think that was the name of the collection. Does Balenciaga have the most logos or emblems? It seems to work. I would say they are one of the brands that has the largest array of emblems and logos. I definitely would say that. Because also Demna does riffs, and going back to Vetements, I feel like I'm just referencing Vetements constantly. But there are so many similarities. But going back to the Vetements days when, you know, he would look at an Internet Explorer logo and flip it, or, you know, a Heineken logo is also something he did and flip it. He's brought the idea to Balenciaga, but it's more refined at Balenciaga. So instead of flipping very obvious logos, he will take a crest of a security division or, you know, a crest of a police force and make a custom Balenciaga crest out of that. So that's what is really interesting about what he does at Balenciaga, whereas at Vetements is a bit too on the nose and a bit too obvious, whereas I think there's a bit more work going into it at Balenciaga, which I love. Don't be ashamed of your Vetemensuality. We are recovering from the Bernie flip. Yeah, exactly. See? That's what I mean, like earlier when he just used to do those like very obvious flips. But that Bernie Balenciaga flip was triple platinum. That had fashion in a chokehold when it came out. This had fashion in like a chokehold for sure. Dylan says, this definitely my favorite post-mud show easily. Yeah, same. I guess it shows because I'm talking about the clothes a lot. I'm not just talking about concepts or actually really talking about the clothes. Whereas sometimes I'm just like, oh no. Like, do you actually believe this is a good collection? How dare you like some of the clothes? Moving on. Oh no, even some more incognito. They've taken the incognito so far. This looks like a VR set. Which is probably what the idea is for it. This is exactly what it looks like, to be honest. Oversized hoodie, layering. They've used a Lamborghini car key, as a chain. Do you know what? To talk about this Lamborghini thing, the Lamborghini collab feels so, it makes the collection look so weird. It's so out of place where they're just slapping Lamborghini logos here and there, wherever. I think it actually takes away from the collection because there are many aspects of this collection that I really love. I think all this Lamborghini stuff is kind of just put in random places and it's not great. I also think it's kind of, they're trying to market the new Lamborghini and they're using Balenciaga to do that, I feel like. Because for people that don't know, not too long ago, Lamborghini launched the car. It's called the Temerario. And this is, I think, Lamborghini's second hybrid car. And the reason why they're pushing it so hard, of course, is because if you guys watched my last video that I just posted, a lot of governments around the world are pushing for electric cars and electrification in cars. And so a lot of even the cars that said we would never have an electric car and all that stuff, even they are forced into making hybrids. The new Porsche 911s are hybrid. So we're seeing that across. And this car is going to be the replacement for the Huracan, which is obviously a very iconic, famous Lamborghini car. And so the fact that in this collection, which you will see, one of the pieces just has a print of the car. I'm like, the second I saw that piece in this collection with the print of that specific car, I was like, yeah, this is just the Lamborghini collaboration where they're just kind of paying for, Balenciaga to showcase this car because it makes sense. That's their audience. It's the same audience in a sense. The same people that probably buy Balenciaga, a lot of them, have Lambos and stuff like that. It seems that they didn't have enough time to design the collab in depth. That definitely seems to be the case. Although it's not completely horrible. I just think a lot of it seems a bit misplaced. This is kind of cool, I guess, kind of like a Lamborghini car key chain. It is kind of strange to have a Lamborghini car key chain but not to actually own the car itself and not actually have the car key. It's almost like you're cosplaying being a Lamborghini owner. It's a bit odd. Oh, we might get kind of the writing of this. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. This jacket silhouette, once again, is something I love. When Demna does contemporary garments using Cristobal Balenciaga's shapes, I love that. I talk about all the time Demna's debut at Balenciaga when he did those track jackets and those C-shaped puffers. Those are definitely some of my grails. Yeah, I would love to one day be rich so I can just to afford those. No, I'm joking. I want to be rich so I don't actually have to struggle in life. But anyway, it's so good. It's just so good. It's honestly so good when Demna does these kind of silhouettes. Now, I'm not the fan of the sleeveless thing. That's not my personal style. I personally wouldn't wear that. If it was a long sleeve version, I'm all for it. Also because Demna's silhouette works for my body type because he always has elongated sleeves and the sleeves are actually quite wide. And with my proportions, I have crazy long arms. So most times when I buy stuff, like the sleeves are like here and it looks really ridiculous. But if I was to wear Balenciaga stuff, it more looks like that, which is perfect. So long sleeve, I'm here for it. But if it's not long sleeve, then no. We get a side. Oh yeah, so they are like VR headsets in a way. So yeah, I was completely right. They literally look like VR headsets. They look like, because the strap is also kind of weird. So it's almost like they're Balenciaga VR headsets, but slightly also ski goggles. They're like 5% ski goggles and like 95% VR. It's kind of strange. Aha, yeah. So I think it was in a press release that they sent to like journalists and stuff, that once again, because they have this idea, like I was saying earlier, of the most comfortable motorcycle leather racing jacket. They wanted to, because they're collaborating with Lamborghini in this collection, actually have like a proper leather motorcycle jacket, like, and like the motorcycle pants and a proper like leather racing jacket. So this is basically what it is. So here it is, guys. I'm trying to see if there's like actual padding, or they just were like, no, we're just going to make it a really good leather this time, but we're not going to still put any of the padding in it, and it's still not going to be functional. It's looking like it's not really that functional, which is fine. So it's just cool to just have it in a different fabric, because that's the whole point of it in the first place. If it's too functional, then it becomes too heavy, and then you can't wear it in different contexts. So I'm not really mad at that, to be honest. Uni says, I love the men's, I hate the women so far. Interesting. You've got some more strange Lamborghini logos randomly in places. They got all sorts of, from a Lamborghini car keychain, that's what we're going to call it, to something with the Lamborghini ball, and all that stuff. Someone in the chat said, this jacket is made with bull leather as an irony for the collab with Lambo. That's crazy. I don't actually know what kind of leather it's made with, but if it was actually made with bull leather, that's like crazy. That's actually insane. Yeah, guys, so this is what I'm talking about, where they literally have t-shirts printing the exact Lamborghini that the company is trying to push as they usher into their hybrid era. So the second I saw these t-shirts, I was like, yeah. So that's what this is. This is just a marketing exercise. The second I saw that, it's like, oh yeah, it's not even about creativity like that. It's really just a marketing exercise. So once again, we have the Balenciaga Lambo collab. This is where I said that, like the earlier part of the collection, big fan, using Cristóbal Balenciaga shapes in a modern context, doing it in the outerwear, the shape of the outerwear, you know, the scarves with the different materials and changing the context of clothing. I love that side of Demna. This stuff is where he loses me every season, where it literally just looks like merch, which is basically what it is, to be honest. I don't think there's any other way to put it. Now, in this collection, though, I think there's something interesting to be said about me always saying that he does all these merchy things, like collab with Era One and it's merchy, or all the different collabs that he does that just look like straight merch. However, I almost feel like in this collection, he did something funny and humorous, where you guys will see he has these kind of, you know, the band tees or like the merch tees that were trending, like the different, you know, Kanye West merch tee and all that sort of stuff. He made those tees for people that are, you know, faces of the brand and associated with the brand of Balenciaga when you think of Balenciaga. So there's like a Kim Kardashian tee and stuff like that. And that is very merchy. That is literally what a merch tee is. So it's kind of like he's almost playing into this idea that people say that Demna does merch, and like, oh my god, like Demna's doing all this merch, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna give you merch then, and he's literally put that in the collection. That is funny. That is actually quite funny, to be honest. So you guys will see when we get there. I think there's one on Nicole Kidman too. I can't remember, but we'll see, because Nicole Kidman is like damn near the face of Balenciaga alongside Kim Kardashian as far as Demna's concerned. Of course, we have some of the old Demna-isms being brought back. This kind of shopping bag as an actual bag is something that he's played with. We've seen this idea in so many different iterations. Also, we've seen like the shoebox that he did. I think it was a leather shoebox that people were up in arms about. Let me show you guys that on the screen. Yeah, it was this one here. It's kind of like a shoebox clutch bag in a sense. We've seen all the various iterations of these kind of ideas from Demna. So yeah, that's nothing new. That's a straight Demna-ism that we're used to seeing. We've come accustomed to. Sean got a hyphenated name. We got to trust the insight. Wait, so look 33 has been well received. Wait, let me go back to look 33. Is it, what part of it is well received? Is it just the fact that it's a Lamborghini Balenciaga piece, or is it the footwear? Like, what about it is being well received? It's definitely not my favorite aspect. Yeah, like the drawstring bags that, you know, like the garment bags that you would get in your shoes, the dust bags, turning that into an actual bag to be worn. Another Demna-ism, I mean, need I say more? We've talked about the camo. We've talked about this idea of Demna taking different aspects of uniforms from different things and making them more easy to wear. So that's kind of what you have here, with something that looks like more of an American football jersey, but Balenciaga version of that. The sleeves even look leather almost. That looks like leather. So that's also cool. That's interesting. Moving on. I'm gonna start wearing my dust bag and shoebox outside. Hey, why not? Why not? We can make anything fashion these days, guys. I wonder if they'd ever do a fight wear collaboration like Fairtex, or yo, that would be so cool. I mean, That would be cool, like Balenciaga Fairtex. That would be so cool because it's just like collecting all the sports that I do. Because I play basketball, I'm into motorcycling, and I don't do Muay Thai at the moment. There was a point when I was really into it. I've kind of slowed down because I was doing too many things and I don't have the time. But I definitely want to get back into Muay Thai. But yeah, like a Fairtex collaboration would be insane. Balenciaga Fairtex would be insane. Like shorts, boxing gloves, hand wrap, shin guards. That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, they made the BJJ gi pants. Yeah, exactly. This is also interesting considering that they collaborated with Adidas and it went to shit. So now they're just like, Bucker 3 stripes. Let's give them 5. Why do an Adidas collab when we can just put 5 stripes instead? That's funny. What does that say? CEO? Oh, hell no. Casual. Wait, what is the Balenciaga CEO supposed to stand for? Casual something out. We need a different angle so we can see exactly what the joke is supposed to be. Let's see. Who's our resident Balenciaga expert? What does the CEO stand for? We can't read it because of the angle. Casual everyday outfits. There we go. Interesting. We've got PJs, but I'm very sure that considering how intentional Demna is, I know there's more to it than that. So I really want to feel that fabric to know. And also this stuff, every time I see this kind of motif on the Balenciaga like tracksuits and stuff, it reminds me of Oakley. It's very Oakley coded. That's very Asian English. Okay, I'm trying to see what they're doing with layering. Okay, this kind of stuff is cool. It's not my taste that Demna does. I know there's people that like love the crazy layer stuff and like all that sort of stuff. It's not really me. Now they're just telling you that they had a collaboration with Scholl and they're plastering the logos on the pieces. Let's see what charms they've put on the bags. This will be interesting because I remember I did the stream where we talked about charms. Bag charms is a big trend right now. So they've got the priority baggage tag. They've got bottle caps, caravanas. They've got a leather. It looks like a price tag, but it's actually made of leather. Those are actually, I will give Balenciaga credit. As far as bag charms go, those are really cool. I'm not gonna lie. A priority tag, a leather price tag, bottle, that's actually kind of cool. I'll give them credit on that one. Yeah. The Rodeo bag is going triple platinum. I didn't want to talk about it too much because I feel like we've hammered this idea of like Rodeo bags selling so well in previous live streams. And also, you know, we've had Finn come on the stream and talk about like actual sales figures of the Rodeo bag. So yeah, it's gone triple platinum in these streets is the conclusion. Yeah, whoever does Balenciaga bags is goated too. I totally agree. When it comes to accessories, they are, top notch. Because they continue, the thing about Balenciaga compared to most brands is most brands, they rely too much on heritage, and because they lean too deeply in heritage and no one cares about the innovation that they do. So I'll give you a good example. Fendi, almost every couple of seasons, they come out with a new bag that is actually quite interesting, but no one cares. Because when it comes to Fendi, people only want to hear about, you know, a peekaboo, or people only want to hear about a baguette. So unfortunately, that stuff goes unnoticed, so there's no impact there. Whereas luckily, because Balenciaga, kind of what Demna has been doing at Balenciaga is not leaning too much on the heritage. Therefore, the customers don't expect that, and they don't come with the expectation that we only care about the heritage. And therefore, the new stuff that, you know, comes out, people are always interested every single season. And that's why they can actually do all these new footwear designs that take off. These, you know, bag designs that take off, or just like transforming old bag design and it takes off. That's why they can do that. I'm really surprised this collection is getting praise on here. I think we have to remember it's a pre-fall collection. So I'm judging it in the context of the fact it's going to be more commercial than normal anyway. So also bear that in mind. The Show collab. We've got the Balenciaga 5 stripes. I find it so funny because literally when we think of the Balenciaga scandal, part of it was the Adidas scandal. So it's just funny. Of course, we have the Balenciaga queer distressed t-shirt. We've seen the Balenciaga gay hoodie. Now we have the Balenciaga queer t-shirt. What other phrases do we need to complete the collection, guys? We've got queer, we've got gay. I'm trying to think of what else we need to complete the collection. Yeah, I feel like they could have made it interesting though. I guess the whole point of it though, because this looks like something that was made by the Gap, which is also the point of the gay hoodie too. Like the way that this is put onto the garment, but I don't know, it could have been more interesting. than just this kind of like distressed, you know, like torn up t-shirt. I don't know. Exactly. Straight gimmick. Straight gimmick. Straight ass gimmick. So this is interesting because, like I said, I like the shape of Demna's outerwear when he uses Balenciaga silhouettes. However, this, even though it's long sleeve, doesn't really have the silhouette that I personally look for. But I'm sure there's a customer for this. And they are really pushing these Lamborghini car key necklaces. These Lamborghini car key chains, they really want these to go. They are really pushing these. Interesting. I want to see how many more looks are going to have that chain. Okay, yes, guys. So this is exactly what I was talking about. So this is what I was talking about when I was saying, do you guys remember when, I don't know if this is still a trend, when people had whole businesses just by making these kind of tees. Like they would make I don't know, an Erykah Badu tee, and it would have that kind of design. They'll make a Kanye West tee, a Travis Scott tee. So Balenciaga is leaning into that, and they've made their own versions of those, but with people who are ambassadors of the Balenciaga brand. So of course, Kim Kardashian being one of the big ones. And I also think it doubles as a very interesting take on the fact that, you know, people like me say, this stuff is so merchy. I don't like when Demna does merch, which I still don't like, by the way. But it's still interesting. I like that they've kind of played into that and kind of leaned into it more aggressively. So that's just kind of fun and interesting. See what I mean? So this is actually the section where they have all of them, I think. Let me see if they, yeah. So they have all of them. All of them are in this section. So let's just get past, show you guys all the different ones that they made, so you guys can get a view. There you go, Nicole Kidman. Okay, CEO. I knew it. Remember when I told you guys that the queer piece looks like a Gap piece? This CEO piece looks like a Gap thing, like a Gap flip also. So, but this is more obvious than the queer t-shirt. That gold plaque on the bags are the gold plaques that you find for doctors, dentists and therapists in front of the walls in Paris. Ah, that's interesting. That's also kind of in most places, like in the UK, they have those plaques too. Some people have it like in front of their doors and stuff, which is really interesting. So he wasn't joking. So what other insight do you have for us about this collection? I'd really love to know, because I'm almost at the end of it anyway. So I'd like to know what other nuggets I might have missed out. It'll be cool to know. And then we have these kind of lace chokers. Now, are these actual lace, or are those like tattoos? I can't actually see properly. It's hard for me to see. Maybe we'll get that insight. The boxer shorts as actual shorts. That's funny. That's such a Demna thing to do. The heels with the front of the shoe so curled up that you see the two B's. Very Demna. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if this is like a tattoo or they're like stickers on the skin. I can't really make out exactly. Ah, of course. We just had to get like a Demna dress where the bottom of the dress is supposed to be the top of the track pants and the legs of the track pants are made into the neckline. We get a version of something like this every season, it seems. Now, it's cool, I guess. I'm not the most major fan of it, but it's cool. It's cool. Breeze through the whole Oakley stuff and get to the end. Oh my God, for a split second, I was like, what the hell is that Emma Chamberlain? And I looked closer, I was like, okay, maybe not. The boots are called the Wicked Boots, like the movie with Ariana Grande. Interesting. Do you like what Balenciaga is doing? It looks very Adidas. Adidas? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I mean, I never dislike completely what any brand is doing. There's aspects of some brands that I might dislike and then aspects that I might be a big fan of. I think in this case, I am a fan of a lot of the collection, apart from when we get to the merch banty, you know, aspects of the collection. But the early parts of the collection, big fan. And I talked about a lot of it. So yeah, it's kind of fun running through. It'll be cool to see what other insight we get. So that white t-shirt got a really cool construction, look 58. So this look, it's hard for me to tell in the image. I mean, what is interesting about it is it seems to have a very exaggerated drop shoulder, which is why you can see the seam is here. That's a very, like, a lot of Korean designers do this. I don't know why that is actually, but a lot of Korean designers do this kind of silhouette where like it's a very exaggerated drop shoulder and then you see the seams around like this amount down your arm and stuff. A lot of Korean designers like doing. Yeah, the picture doesn't give grace to the design. Oh yeah, 100%. That's why it's always better to obviously go into the showroom and see the stuff up close. But all of us are in the same boat, unless We Are You, and we've actually, you know, worked on a collection or like seen it. Let's see. It has a kind of cap that makes it like a minimal modern dress, like Cristobal used to do. Interesting. Here, obviously, you can see that, like, because you can see it's quite tight in this section of the what is supposed to be, I guess, a t-shirt sort of dress. So you can tell that something has been done to make it do that, to make it get tighter around the waist in that sense. But it's really cool though. It is really cool. Honestly, I wanted to see lots of these pieces move to appreciate it better. And that's the issue with obviously the way that Demna has decided to present this collection, where he's essentially presenting it as just like an iPhone kind of lo-fi thing, rather than on a runway show where we get to see how these garments actually move. And I think also on a runway show, we get to see different angles depending on the camera angles that we get, more so than when we get images like this. What I really don't like, let me show you something that, and I'm begging brands to keep doing this, by the way. I'm gonna keep begging brands to do this, because if you notice, right, if you look at a detail shot, some of them have, like, you can see the backs of garments and some of them you can't. Every single, on Vogue runway, I don't know, obviously in this case it's like coming from Balenciaga, but like normally Vogue has a photographer that goes and takes these pictures. We need a side profile, we need a front profile, and we need a back profile for every look. The whole only showing us the front isn't great. We can't even see like stuff that's on the sleeve. Like when I was saying, oh, what does the CEO stand for? Because we couldn't read it because it was on the sleeve. So the photography needs to improve, so we can actually see more stuff and see more aspects to the way that garments are constructed, especially when clothing is presented and it's not on the runway, so we can't even see how these move. Yeah, you can see there is something going on, but on the runway, it would be easier to understand. Exactly. I like this breakdown. I think when people say he's messing with Cristobal's legacy, they aren't looking close enough. Demna seeks to make Cristobal's work contemporary in an era of hoodie, sweats plus denim. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I said earlier, like a lot of people say what Demna's doing has nothing to do with Balenciaga, which I never agree with that standpoint, because it just isn't true. Like, it just isn't true. But yeah, and I also agree with this, and many times he executed it poorly. I agree with that too, because sometimes it gets too murky. There was a time when you could break down Demna's collections into a science. It's kind of still like that, but less so, where it's like, okay, at first we're gonna get the priest-like aesthetic, and then we're going to get the track jackets and the football jerseys, because he was very obsessed with football at the time, like soccer, as the Americans will say. So he had that section, and it was always in sections. Then you would have some like outerwear pieces, like really oversized, exaggerated, you know, blazers and jackets with, you know, very exaggerated shoulders. And then the last like 4 or 5 looks of these amazing haute couture type dresses, and it was just like, it was literally like a science. It was like a formula. The day a 360 is done a presentation would be revolutionary, pun intended. I know, right? Like, and it's such a basic thing. Just show us every angle of the garment. It's such a basic, you know, it's actually such a basic thing. It's so basic. A little insight for Aya: the people who play football in the US just say footy, everyone else says soccer. Okay, I just assume, thank you for the insight, I just assume that every single person in the US just says soccer, because what you guys call football is American football, so I understand it. Fashion is afraid of the basics. So yeah, thank you very much guys for coming to my Balenciaga TED Talk. Oh my god, I can't even speak. I very much enjoyed talking about this collection, going through the look, talking about some of the stuff and looking at it closer, because I think sometimes, which I don't like when I see the discourse on, I think people have even stopped, people have moved on from this collection, and people are already talking about like the British Fashion Awards and stuff. People bashed the collection, didn't really look at it closely, and then moved on. And it's just insane. It's like, we need to actually take our time and take in a lot of the work that these designers put out. So, you know, it's good for me to look at it closely and say what I like, what I don't like, and what interests me. So thank you very much guys for tuning in. Like I said, I shall be trying my best to be more consistent with the streams. I was actually on holiday. I'm back from holiday now, so you shall be seeing my face a lot. I have an editor also who is watching this stream right now, and he will be cutting down my streams, so that will be more consistent too. I will be posting, let's say 2 or 3 clips from my streams a day. So we're gonna go really hard into the streams. Before I go, what I will say is like the stream, I will appreciate it. And lastly, I am now on Spotify. So I put all of my streams on Spotify. So if you guys have Spotify Premium, if you don't like the ads when you watch it back, you can watch it on Spotify on the go if that's easier for you. The link of my Spotify page should be in the description, so you can follow it, and I'll be seeing you guys later. If you guys are in the Discord, then I'll see you in the Discord in a few minutes. Otherwise, till tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind the scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.